Alright, video number 3 in the practice quiz solutions is starting with number 10. We have this thing. You're supposed to use a calculator to get a number. What I would do is do it step by step. It's tricky to do work calculators right with parentheses and everything. So writing this, I can raise pi to the pi, and I got 36.462, and that should be enough decimal places. 4 to the negative 3 is 1 over 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64, so that's 64. To the negative square root of 3 is 1.73205. That should be enough decimal places. Keep lots of decimal places because it can make a big difference. Now we can just go 36 divided by that in a calculator, raise it to that power. Remember you can use this little button like that to raise things to powers. And when I did that, I got that this was equal to about 2.64977. I said to 2 decimal places because everybody should get that that's about 2.65. So check and make sure you can get that in your calculator, and if you can't, maybe I did it wrong and let me know. But I think that's right. I don't have you guys to check me right now, so hopefully I'm doing these correctly. Okay, number 11 is the piano problem. So Ellie wants to build a piano with only 8 notes per octave from A to H. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So no sharps, just 8 notes an octave as opposed to 12 for a normal piano. Sets the middle A at 500 hertz. So A is equal to 500 hertz, and there are 8 notes. That means that every note, that means that the next highest A is 1000. So it's double that, right? So the next highest is 1000 hertz. The next lowest would be half of that, would be 250 hertz. And that's what sounds like an A to us. If you hear 500 and you hear that note, 1000, you say, oh, that's the same note, but it's higher. And this one is half the note, half the frequency. It sounds the same note, but lower. We keep cutting it in half, keep doubling it to get the next highest one. So that means that every single one on the scale then is 2 to the 1/8 higher or lower than the one before it, because 2 to the 1/8, 8 times, multiply powers, 8 times 1/8 is 1, equals 2. So if we do this 8 times, we get from 500 to 1000. Okay, so this problem here says the first E note. So it goes A, B, C, D, E. So we need to multiply by 2 to the 1/8, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So we take our 500 hertz, multiply it by 2 to the 1/8, 4 times, which I'll just write like that because that's the easy way to do it. Well, let's see. That's 500 times 4 times 1/8 is 1/2. So that's just 2 to the 1/2 power, which is the square root of 2. So the note would just be 500 times the square root of 2. Which is 707, which is close enough, about 707 hertz. So if this was the scale, the first E note above the A, which is at 500, would be 707 hertz. Okay, then part B says, what's the frequency of the next highest A? I already answered that. The next highest A would be 1000 hertz. The one after that would be 2000, one after would be 4000, keep doubling it. If we want lower, we just cut them in half. The next lower one is 500, 250, lower than 1000. So 500 is the original one, 250, 125, and the math gets hard. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And finally, the last one, number 12. We have a yeast population given by that formula there. And I say it's poison because it's getting smaller because it's a negative exponent. So we have y, this is our y for yeast, which is convenient, 654 e to the negative 0.54 t, negative 0.54 t, where we'll say t is in hours. So the first one's really easy, you don't have to do any math. At t equals 0, you plug in t equals 0, c is 0, which is 1, it's always a number in front. So there are 654 yeast cells at t equals 0. Part B, you got to do a little bit of math. You just plug in the number. So in 4 hours, you plug that in. So 654, I forgot my 5, 654 e to the negative 0.54 times 4. So really this is just a calculator problem, which doesn't make it easy. You got to be able to do that math. 0.54 times 4, I'm going to be really careful here, is 2.16, so that's equal to 654 e to the negative 2.16. So this again is making sure you know how to use your calculator. So if I use mine, I get 2.16 negative e times 654, and I get 75.4, which you can't really have 0.4 of a yeast cell, so I'm going to round that down to 75. Should be smaller because it's a negative exponent, right? They're poison. They're getting fewer and fewer and fewer as time goes on. So that answer makes sense. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, hopefully it all makes sense and you can do well in the regular quiz.